always thought Pierce Brosnan was going to be a super great James Bond. And he fits, like, the idea that I kind of had in my head of James Bond as this kind of suave, like, debonair kind of guy.
Yeah.
Then they come in and they cast this Daniel Craig, who I don't think I knew him at the time. Like, I think we probably saw Layer Cake, like, after.
Yeah, I had no idea who this guy was. I had no idea who
and
this
he
guy
doesn't
was.
seem like your idea of Bond. I remember when they came in, I was like, first of all, he's blonde. We all know how I feel about that.
Right. Oh, look, I know very well how you feel about blonde dudes.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's a hard no for
Yeah.
me. But, like, having that be James Bond, I was just like, what? Because, you know, you had all these other James Bonds before. They all were dark-haired guys, like the tall, dark, and handsome template, kind of. And then you get, like, this really, you know, ruddy blonde guy. And I'm like, what? What? And also, he's kind of a bruiser. Like, he's not, like, a slick, kind of suave guy.
Well, that's one of the things that was really the major appeal. Like, I didn't know what direction we were going to be going with, because when they announced that it was Daniel Craig, it was like, who's the new guy? You know what I mean? It's like, who's this? And then it came to be for me that this is my number one Bond, Daniel Craig.
This is also my number one Bond. As much as I was kind of like question mark, he came in, and it turns out that I love, like, this tough kind of Bond that's just ready to get in a fight and just ready to, you know, do what it takes to get the job done. And I thought that was super cool. I loved that direction.
Well, and you see in the movie, like, they really illustrate that very well. Like, when he's doing he's in Madagascar, or Madagascar. I never know how to say that.
I don't really.
I don't know.
I just
Madagascar.
Probably Madagascar.
Madagascar sounds better. So when he's in Madagascar and he's chasing the agent, I guess, the rogue agent, and they have this amazing parkour sequence,
which is unbelievable.
Yes, he has the scene where the bad guy, like, just jumps this fence or this wall.
Yeah.
And Daniel Craig just runs right through it, just like a cartoon.
Yes, that's just like, that's when you knew who you were dealing with.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so good. Even before that, the opening, like the cold opening of the movie, where he goes to Czech Republic to become a 00.
I love that.
You see this huge fight where he got his first kill, where he's just beating the pants off this guy in the bathroom.
Yeah.
He's just using the bathroom, like, to beat this man. Oof. Like, he's hitting him into a sink, breaking the walls down. It's like a hardcore, like, fight that they're in.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. But it's like, that's not what you saw before. I mean, when I think back to the other Bond movies, they had great opening sequences sometimes, but it was never just like some dude beating the crud out of another dude.
Well, George Lazenby had some really good fight sequences.
Yes.
He had some hand-to-hand work, and that was just the one film on Her Majesty's Secret Service. And I think about that, and the physicality that he brought to the role, I feel like, is what Daniel Craig continued with this. I mean, he brought so many other things as well.
Yeah, but I think that that's a fair point. Like, Lazenby kind of was younger.
Yep.
Then, you know, you'd just gone from Sean Connery, who was kind of getting older by that point.
Yep.
Becoming, like, a less physical Bond. Then you have, like, George Lazenby come in, more young, more physical. And then you switch back to Roger Moore, who kind of has this very suave, debonair thing. And I would kind of lump in Roger Moore with what Pierce Brosnan was doing as well.
Yeah, that was yeah. Because it was like when they went from Connery to Lazenby, or is it Lazenby? I think
it's Lazenby.
I think it's Lazenby, so we'll go with Lazenby. When we went from Connery to Lazenby on Her Majesty's Secret Service, they actually went back to Connery.
Yes.
And they wanted him back, and that's how we got Diamonds Are Forever, which was the last movie that Sean Connery did until the 80s, when he came back with Never Say Never Again.
Which is like a non-canon type of movie.
Right. There was a dispute over the rights to Thunderball. and who had ownership. And the way it was decided in the end is that another version could be released, and that was Never Say Never Again.
Yeah.
And so that was,
And by that point, Connery was fairly old.
Yes.
And kind of different. So, I'm not saying that in a mean way. It just
No.
isn't the same as, like, the young Sean Connery, who was a kind of a physical Bond.
yes.
And a little bit, like, rougher around the edges.